I'd like to call this meeting of the City of Elkhorn Common Council to order. It is January 19th, 2026 at 5:30. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Tim Schroeder,
Here.
Peter Harvey,
Here.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Here.
Ron Dunwoody,
Here.
Scott McClory,
Here.
Ken Minell,
Here.
Dan Roberts,
Here. All right, our first item is public comment. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to be heard? Anyone? Seeing no one, we'll move on from public comment. Next is a consent agenda. We have two items, the council meeting minutes of January 5th, 2026, and a financial surety reduction number 1 for sidewalks, utilities, stormwater infrastructure at Taco Bell located 850 North Wisconsin Street from the original amount of $289,776 to $25,160. Is there any discussion on those? Anyone have any questions?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, we have bills payable in the amount of $9,803,763.52.
Make a motion to pay the bills in the amount stated by the mayor.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion, any questions? Roll call, please.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, we've got report of city officials. For the mayor's report, I have the honor of presenting our retiring police chief, Joel Christensen, with a very fancy plaque here. Yeah, I think we're gonna do pictures back here, if you can imagine. Maybe you wanna just come up.
Sure.
I'm gonna read this, and then I'd like the full council to come up and get a picture taken with Joel and I. Anyway, this is presented to Chief Joel Christensen for his service to the city from July 24th, 1989 to January 17th, 2026, in recognition and gratitude for 36 years of distinguished, dedicated, and honorable service to the citizens and the City of Elkhorn Police Department. And here's the plaque. You can see it's got his badges on there from his 4 positions. It's very nice. Congratulations. Yeah. Get the council. Okay.
I don't need to get a picture. I would have worn my Bears jersey.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Real quick, I just want to thank my family first of all, especially my wife. A lot of missed meals. So thank you for the sacrifice. I love you. Also the second family. You see them back there. Couldn't do it without you guys. It's really hard for me to say goodbye, obviously, but you're also special to me. All different ways, past and present, obviously, but you do the lifting. I'm just here to help guys, thank you. Council, thank you for your unwavering support of public safety. Especially, it wasn't without question, and I always appreciate the constructive criticism that we have. It always ends up being a better work product in the end. So thank you for your support and the community. The overwhelming support we have here locally for public safety is incredible. I'm sure that will continue way long after I'm gone, but we couldn't do it all without the relationships that we've built. And we continue to build, so we'll continue that strong relationship, guys, and great things are in store for you in the future. Thank you.
Got it, thanks.
Oh yeah, I had to get gas because my low gas light was on. I was like, oh, I don't think that's good in this weather.
I was gonna say, if everyone's more than welcome to stay, but if you'd like to sneak out, now might be a good time. Adam? You're up.
All right. Well, again, I just want to congratulate Chief Christensen again for his retirement. We do appreciate his 36 and a half years of service. It was a real pleasure working with him. I want to thank everybody who came to the retirement reception last Friday in terms of the city staff, but also the council. And it meant a lot to have everybody there. So thank you for that. And I wanted to thank Casey. Looks like she stepped out. Want to thank Casey for organizing that event. She did a phenomenal job, and it was a challenge trying to figure out how do you plan for an event that may have 200 people there. How much food do you need? How much drink do you need? So thank you to Casey for that, and Teresa as well for her help getting the plaque put together. So thank you to everybody for that. The Police and Fire Commission is going to be interviewing the police chief finalists this Wednesday. So those 4 finalists are all from this area. And then there's a panel of some city representatives, including some council members, mayor, who will be doing a panel interview that will just provide some feedback to the PFC, but ultimately the appointment is up to the Police and Fire Commission. So, and then I just noted too that unfortunately Dale Breckert at Foth is leaving Foth and is taking an in-house position with a different engineering firm. So unfortunately, Dale, has served the water department really, really well in terms of providing great project management for the city and counseling during some challenging water issues over the last since 2019. So I know Dale was actually planning on coming in February to do his annual update. So unfortunately, that's going to be sort of put on the back burner. But we're going to be meeting with Foth here soon to figure out who's going to take over his role as kind of the main client lead for the city. So I just wanted to make council aware of that. So those are my updates. And then I know, Rebecca, you've got an update about the spring election, spring primary.
Sure. I just want to give a brief election update. A spring primary is not necessary for the city, so the next election will be April 7th, which is the spring election.
And just one quick final additional thing. I meant to thank the chamber for letting us have our retirement reception at the chamber building again, and I appreciate it too because it was right after they had a holiday party the night before. So I know there was an imposition on the chamber, but thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Adam. Next, we've got the reports of city boards and community partners. Fire advisory.
Next meeting will be this Thursday, 6 p.m. here at City Council Chambers.
All right, thank you. Library, Chad.
Good evening. So the library has begun officially its next phase of construction with the northeast end of the lower level now under full renovation. The previous phase 2 is complete, and so we have the reading lounge and the first 3 study rooms activated and ready for use now. Upcoming for the final phase, we will be needing to close. That would be beginning the week of April 6th. That will be a full closure where we won't be allowed into the building at all as they put on the equipment on the roof. After that, we're looking at a 2 to 3 week partial closure, but what we're planning on doing is having a kind of a modified curbside service so that people can still access the library collection through the lobby. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chad.
Mayor, if I could, I just want to say that Chad and the ad hoc committee and everyone at the library has done a remarkable job at being able to move the books, get them located from point A to point B, and keep up with all the people that they're servicing at the same time. So congratulations, you're doing a great job.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. Rec advisory.
Yeah, the next Park and Rec Advisory and Band Shell Ad Hoc Committee will be having a joint meeting on Wednesday, January 21st at 5:30 p.m. here at City Hall.
Okay, thank you, Gary. And the chamber.
Good evening. I'll keep it short. Right now is kind of our behind the scenes time. We are, unfortunately, as much as we love this weather, we are securing summer and fall ads already with that. In the upcoming weeks, probably at next council, I will be able to disclose some exciting news for the Elkhorn community that maybe will be featured in a 27-28 campaign for the state of Wisconsin. Location to be determined or disclosed at a later date. In our neighboring communities, at the end of the month, Lake Geneva will be having Winterfest, the 28th through the February 1st. That brings a lot of tourism and people to our community, and it overflows into our area. We also will be attending the Chicago Golf Show in February. I'm also been involved in the 250th anniversary with the Walworth County, and the exact date is to be determined. I was just at a county board meeting over that. And we are in the process of working on our community guide that will be out in May. If anybody ever has any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out and we will be more than happy to help with anything you have. But as we all know, the weather can be challenging and without ice castles and a few different events. But if you talk to the Grand Geneva and Alpine Valley, which we have represent for multiple things, they are very busy. This weather has been conducive and they can make snow. So it brings a lot of people to our area. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Our community grant writer, Katie James, had let us know she wouldn't be available tonight. So we'll move on to the committee reports, municipal services. Is that Ron?
I got it.
You got it.
I got it.
Where?
We had a meeting and each department gave a update on all their maintenance and where they're at with it. A couple of new vehicles coming in. Other than that, everything went fine.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kim. Unfinished business. We've got a discussion and possible decision regarding proposal from Ehlers and Associates to prepare a pro forma for the U.S. Shelter Homes development on West Market Street for a cost not to exceed $15,000. Anyone got any questions, discussion on this?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
I heard Ken first. I'm gonna count that as two. First and second, okay. Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, we've got discussion and possible decision regarding proposal from Ehlers and Associates to amend TID 5 project plan for U.S. Shelter Homes development at West Market Street for a cost not to exceed $13,500.
Make a motion to approve that one too.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody, Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, we've got discussion regarding status of the former Lakeland School property at 504 West Court. Who wants to start that?
I asked for this to be placed on the agenda just so that we could have a transparent discussion, Mr. Mayor. I guess some of the questions that I have, and others can chime in. How long do we expect the construction to last? Is there a starting schedule? Is there a midpoint schedule? Is there an ending schedule? I don't want there to be anticipated potential loopholes, like we put a shovel in the ground, leave us alone, it's been 3 years, we're working on it. Or it's been 5 years and, you know, we have half the building done. So I guess I really want an ironclad document that makes that become what they say it's going to become sooner than later. So that's kind of where I'm at.
With deadlines and stipulations.
Right.
Make sure that they're going to use it exactly for the use that they're planning, and they don't have something else in their back pocket for later. I want to make sure it's set up correctly when we do this as a cup, right? Is that what we have to do? Make sure it's set up so that we don't have, like Scott said, we don't have the loopholes, so.
I agree with both of them, and I've talked to the mayor about this. I can go back 20 years that I know of, that they've come up with the project, they've come up with the drawings, done the presentation, and then it just fades away. I mean, at least 4 or 5. So I think going into this, with what you've said, we've got to be very, very, very careful, and we've got to set some dates. If they have to say they're going to break the ground and they're going to start the project on this date, we got to make sure that they do. And if they don't, we got to have some means of being able to go back to the table with them or whatever it might take. But they've done this 4 or 5 different times.
And I was on the council 25 years ago when this started.
Right.
And that's that's exactly why I brought it up.
Right, yeah. I mean, we've been through it a number of times, so.
Okay, well, it sounds like we're all on the same page here. So what's the next step? We will see their plans at Planning Commission?
Yeah, they said that their next step was going to be next step was going to be to submit the conditional use permit application. We haven't seen that permit yet application yet. So, I mean, if it's the council's, you know, we can tell them that the council expects to see application within, you know, whether I'm just making, 45 days or I don't know how many days, 30 days. I don't know if you want to provide some guidance on that, but that's their next step. So.
Well, I guess my counter to that would be, when did they notify us in writing that they had this plan to make it a senior center, I think is the words they used? When did we get that email? Has it been a month? Has it been 2 months? And I hate to put you on the spot, Adam, I'll let you look that up, but if literally it's been 6 weeks and we literally have nothing except, yeah, we plan on doing something, not real happy about that.
Let's see, we got, they sent it to us on January 6th.
Okay. All right. So what would be a reasonable timeline? I guess we could maybe direct staff to come up with their own internal timeline, at least present to them, like by March 1st, we see groundbreaking. By, I'm just spitballing here, by July 1st, they poured the floor, I don't know, like something that has, like Ken said, concrete specific deadlines and penalties. I hate to use the word penalty, but provisions that require them to meet the deadlines, barring unforeseen circumstances, of course.
I think it might be tough to have concrete, let's say, construction start dates right now until they submit their CUP.
Right.
And, it may not get approved. And so I think once they actually submit the CUP, planning commission votes on it, sets the conditions, and then obviously you guys have to vote to approve it. Certainly, once that gets approved, then you guys could probably,
Right.
you know, set to them your expectation for, well, first off, the CUP is gonna have a set, you know, expiration period anyway, so they're gonna have to move quickly, but, you know, if you guys wanna say to them, it's your expectation that they're breaking ground or, you know, making substantial progress within 3 months or 6 months, whatever that period is.
I guess I'd lean towards using the same boilerplate language we've used with other construction projects. You know, like we have something now where, you know, when you want to build a whatever, we have something in place now that says you got to, you know, have it started by X and have, you know, I don't know what you call substantial completion by Y date. I'd like to, you know.
Well, at least phases.
Right, right, that's what I mean.
Is this, but, I think once it comes before the planning commission on a conditional use, okay, we can set some criteria on that, naturally, and then it'll be passed on to council. But I think we'll have chances there to, you know, make sure we stay on top of it, you know, and I'm sure Adam will, and the staff. But like I say, they've got a terrible track record, and we're still dealing with the same people, you know, that we were 20 years ago. But that'd be their first move, right, Adam? They have to come to planning commission first.
Yes, yeah.
Do the presentation, so.
But again, how long do they have? They come
Before
to,
they have to come to
No.
they have some plans, they said they have plans drawn, right?
Yeah, I mean, I forwarded you what they had said in terms of their proposed
Right.
or layout, internal layout.
Right.
right.
So,
What if they, again, what if they don't come before what if they don't come before the planning commission and it's July 1st? Are we okay with that?
no, I think what we should do is give them, maybe till the end of February to make sure they come before. We meet twice a month if it need be. So, you know, there's plenty of opportunity between now and the end of February for them to come and do the presentation. And I think, would we be out of line, Elaine, asking them to get there, you know, in a timely manner with their plans?
I think you.
Okay. No, you wouldn't be, especially because there were some problems there that you're trying to address. So, I mean, if you said to them, look, we would expect you to have your application in for whatever approvals you're going to be seeking by mid-February, that would give them roughly a month. The submittals, while they're not overly complicated, they certainly need to put a package together to make that filing. And then your clerk will need to notice those meetings up, because obviously there's a public hearing component to the conditional use. So that also then takes at least 3 weeks to get the Class 2 notice completed. So if you gave them by mid-February to make their submittals, I imagine you would see it probably in March then for review by the Plan Commission.
So
I'm good with that.
So would it make sense just to put a reminder on the February 16th council? Hey, you know, where we're at, have they submitted stuff? Is it scheduled to go to planning commission, et cetera? Just kind of like we do with the budgets, it just kind of shows up and we just kind of discuss it. Would that make sense? This February 16th would be the last one of February.
Thank you for putting that on the agenda.
Yeah, we'll follow up, send an email to their representative probably the next week, just to say, hey, you know, you submitted on the 6th. We corresponded with you more on the 7th, telling you you needed the CUP. You said you would think about the next steps, and so, you know, if we keep following up with them, then hopefully that will spur them to move forward, so.
All right, we'll see that again on the 16th of February, just for an update. Moving on to new business. First item is we've got a discussion and possible decision regarding proposed consent to collateral assignment of a development agreement and the tax increment payments made by SCR Elkhorn LLC in favor of the Port Washington State Bank. Is this just a bookkeeping thing on the TID?
I don't know if I'd say it's a bookkeeping, but it is a request. Hopefully you saw the letter from our special legal counsel from Corals on this one explaining. It's basically, the developer is basically just requesting that we allow them to assign, the revenues they're gonna get from the TID, from our development agreement with them to their the company that's financing them. So I guess Elaine, I don't know if you did
Yep,
that.
it is a fairly standard request. This is security for the bank, for the lender that is lending money related to the project. So we do see these from time to time, and its special counsel you've got correspondence indicating that there's a draft there, and it would be a routine approval in order to do that.
So your recommendation is to approve this?
Yes, yes. It allows them to get the money they need to do the project.
Make a motion to approve.
Yeah, second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, we've got discussion and possible decision regarding quotes for access point security system replacement at the police department. Captain?
Sure. So last year, our current access point system had a failure. It's no longer supported, the software is, so unfortunately, we can't create, disable, modify anyone's access cards. So unfortunately, at the point where we need to replace the system. So we got a couple of quotes, one from our current provider, which is Kane, and then one from Heartland Business, which we use them for our IT, and they do our security cameras as well. So the one from Heartland came in slightly under budget. And this is a CIP item that was already approved, so.
Does anyone have any questions?
No. You said the one from Heartland is the one that's under,
That's correct, yep.
and we've had good service for Heartland?
I haven't
I
any,
mean, actually, it's more, I'm looking more at you.
That's a tough one. I almost feel like I'm gonna defer this one to Corey, but no, I mean, Heartland, they do provide all of our IT services, so, I mean, we use them for a lot. So I mean, I'm not saying that they're perfect, but they do, like I said, they do the best they can, and we've had overall, we haven't switched, so I just say that. So,
And it's gonna provide everything that you need.
yes.
I'd make a motion to approve going with Heartland then.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Dan Roberts,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, we've got discussion and possible decision regarding a request from the police department to declare items as surplus.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
There's a nice long list there.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we've got discussion and possible decision regarding declaring city administration building obsolete server and computer equipment as surplus and authorizing the proper disposal of these items.
Would make the motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we've got discussion and possible decision regarding upsizing water main from 8 to 12 inches in Sugar Creek Ridge subdivision Phase 1 and segment along County Road H between Girard and Edgewood at a cost of $119,300.30.
I guess the question is, where's that money gonna come from? It's a good idea, but where's the money coming from?
No, it's a great question. This is one where we did budget extra, a contingency for the Centralia Water Treatment Plant reservoir rehab, and we budgeted about 190,000-ish in contingency.
It was around 200,000.
So this is around well, I guess it was originally going to be 170. We got them to agree to do a cost share, so that they would do 30% and we'd do 70. So this is the lower number of 119. So, and I'd invite Nate, if the council's, agreeable to, certainly could talk about the pros and cons of this project. So Nate.
Sure. I don't know if you want to pull up that figure at the end. It's easier to look at for you guys to ask any questions. Probably the next one, down, yeah.
Oh, map?
Yeah.
So I think the one thing to keep in mind is that, we do have some funding available with our existing bond that we already issued. It doesn't sound like, Nate doesn't think that the reservoir rehab at this point is going to require much of a contingency because the bulk of the work is done. They just have to come back and add another layer of coat.
Yeah, well, they have to come back and they have to do all the sandblasting inside, outside, and then do a 3-coat painting system, which that's all in the contract. The caveat would be if there's any kind of extras. I hate to say it, never. I'm very hopeful that them coming back and asking for extras, I don't see. There's not gonna be an extra fee for tank cleaning or something like that. Not like we had earlier in the project. There's not gonna be nothing on the aerator. Structurally, there shouldn't be any other modifications, structurally. So I'm feeling fairly confident that they're not gonna come back and request another change order for a significant amount. There might be, I don't know, maybe a $10,000 or $20,000 something or other adder. I can't think of it right now, but that'd be a possibility, but I don't see something like $100,000 adder for that project.
And we have not touched the 200,000 contingency at all.
As of right now, no.
Your confidence level is what, 75, 90,
I'd say 85.
85?
Yeah.
What's my number?
I'm 85. I am 85% confident that there's not gonna be nothing too crazy. Again, I could see a $10,000 or $20,000 adder, but I'm hard pressed to say there's a $100,000 adder.
What's our confidence level that this 119.3 is gonna be at? They're not gonna come back for more for that?
I'm about 100% on that. That's the previous page shows their quote and their breakdown of the costs. And they did come back late last week that they would split 30%, which I do feel is pretty fair, as this benefits their development as much as it does help us benefit. Adding this loop, I will add this to it. We'll never have another opportunity like this to start adding in a loop like this around that tower that would benefit all the surrounding communities, such as if you have a main break to the north of the tower or to the south, you're feeding it 12 inches all the way around. And that's a huge benefit to the community.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I just want to make sure we don't shortchange ourselves and end up with a money situation.
No, I agree, and I can appreciate that.
And just one thing to keep in mind too is that, this would give us 12-inch through the first phase of the development, but it's not going to give you the 12-inch throughout the rest of the development. We'd have to pay to upsize those portions as well. So, long-term, there would be additional cost.
In phase 2 and phase 3.
Yeah, if the intent is to get it to connect with Hazel Ridge, that you would have to pay for 2 more phases worth. So you're looking at probably another 100,000 per. Now I will say whether we can get them to cost share or not on those is still up for debate, but I just want to make it clear that this isn't, doing the entire development.
I suggest you start negotiating. Just saying.
Any further questions?
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd make a motion to approve based on what we've heard.
Second. We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Peason Jr.,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ron Dinwiddie,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Dan Roberts.
Yes.
Okay, next we're going to adjourn into closed session. I'll read my 7-paragraph sheet here. We will be reconvening into open session to deal with these items. The first item is the common council may entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to state statute, Wisconsin statutes 19.851C, to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which a governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. This item is a discussion regarding revisions to the employment contract requested by Police Captain Al Brandel to serve as interim police chief. The next item is the common council may entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.851E for the purpose of deliberating and negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. The discussion regarding the counteroffer to the city's offer to purchase on these 2 tax keys that are listed. And then a discussion regarding making an offer to purchase on the following property, which is 401 Fair Avenue. And lastly, the common council may entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes section 19.851G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. And this item is a discussion regarding notice of claim from Walworth County for damage to Lakeland School at W3905 County Road NN. And again, we will be returning into open session. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Gary Peason Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minot,
Yes.
Dan Roberts.
Yes.
All right, we're back into open session at 6:40. And our first item in closed session was a discussion of possible decision regarding revisions to the employment contract requested by Police Captain Al Brandel to serve as interim police chief.
I make a motion to make revisions as discussed in closed session. Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
We need to formally approve the revised contract.
And approve revised contract, I amend.
Okay, is the second amended? With the
Second amended?
Okay. All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, we've got a discussion and possible decision regarding the city's counteroffer for the purchase of the 2 tax keys you see listed here.
I make a motion for administration to make the counteroffer as discussed in closed session.
Second. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And then we've got the discussion and possible decision on the damage to the Lakeland School.
I make a motion to have the city continue to negotiate with Lakeland.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then I'm just seeing this item E here is a discussion and possible decision regarding proposal from Kapoor and Associates to perform Phase 1 environmental site assessment on those 2 parcels.
Mr. Mayor, we would recommend that you approve this agreement with Kapoor and Associates contingent on a finally accepted agreement in the land transaction related to the same properties and subject to final review by legal and the administrator.
That would be a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do you have something there, Adam?
Second.
I was just gonna clarify why that was on the last item, because it was relevant to what was being discussed in closed session, so that's why it was put at the end. It wasn't an accident or unintentional.
That's fine.
All right.
We're good.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.